Alright y'all, so in this video I'm basically about to be doing an updated video showing y'all how I use my Fibonacci. I did a video on this last year, but I'm doing an updated one now because I traded completely different. And this video is going to help y'all be able to get y'all setups perfect and have a higher success in the market. But before we get into the video, I want to let y'all know that I just released my course. This course is going to teach you everything that I know that helped me become a six-figure trader. You get access to 40+ course videos from beginner to advanced. This course is for a complete beginner all the way up to advanced traders. You also get 3 months access to my signals chat, which is $40 a month. I'm giving y'all 3 months for free. You get access to my private student Telegram chat where you're gonna be able to talk to me every day directly. And you'll also be able to get 2 30-minute one-on-one Zoom lessons as well. So the link to the course is in the description. If you wanna also purchase signals, the link to that is in the description as well. And if y'all curious to know what broker that I use when I'm trading, I use a broker called Hanko Trade. Link to them is in the description as well if you want to go check them out. But if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video. Let's try to aim for 500 likes for this video and let's hop right into it. Alright y'all, so look, we basically about to get on the charts right quick and I'm gonna show y'all exactly how I use the FIB today. Because it's a little bit different than the way that I used to use it when I was trading back like a year or two ago. So I'm gonna basically go ahead and show y'all exactly how to use the FIB. If you new around here, I'm gonna give you my FIB settings and everything so you can already have all of this stuff and you be able to just follow along with the video. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna open up my FIB. If you trading on MetaTrader 4 and you don't know how to open up the FIB, what you need to do is come up here to where it says draw Fibonacci retracement. It's like this icon with a bunch of dots and a little F at the bottom right. Just click on that. And then the next thing you want to do is just pull it out like this, right? We're going to double tap on the trend line and then we're going to right click and click Fibo properties. Now what I want y'all to do is literally copy every single thing that y'all see on my screen. Every single one of these little bars. I'm going to go down slowly so y'all can see. All right, if y'all might have missed it, 70. And make sure when you put in like the 1 and the 0 that you put this percentage and dollar sign. That way it'll let you know right here like exactly what price is and what price is up here. So, and then for the TPs, you know, you can just put it as T1, T2, T3. And yeah, so this is how you do that. And I'm gonna change my color of this back to black just because black look better. It's just more simple. All right, so now what we want to do is the way that I use my FIB is I like to use the FIB for like break and retest, and I also like to use it for basically like basic retracements. So let's look at the chart and I'm gonna show y'all exactly how you can use it. So say for example, price was continuing to push up, right? We continuing to make higher highs and higher lows and whatever. Price going up, you can see it right here on this trend line. We in an uptrend. Price was starting to decline a little bit here, but we ended up breaking structure, right? Coming back, you know, breaking structure to the upside again. So if we broke structure to the upside in a candle like this on an hourly chart, you know that most likely price is going to continue up one more time. So let's look at the FIB, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it from the low of this candle and I'm going to draw it from the wick. Some people like to draw it only from the body to the body, but I'm gonna draw from wick to wick just cause it give you a little bit more pinpoint accuracy as far as like where price really stopped at and where, you know, with the highs that it went. So let's draw like this. We're gonna draw the FIB from the bottom of this wick right here all the way to the most recent high. We're not paying attention to all of this stuff that happened over here because this is not part of that move, right? We just paying attention to what happened right here. And I'm gonna also go over this and show y'all how to get the entries on the FIB for the smaller time frame, because this is basically how to use it for the higher time frame. So we come over here, right? As you can see, price had ended up pushing back down, and what you could do is this is how I line this stuff up. I know that if price broke structure, it ended up breaking a high. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna mark off that area of resistance that's now became a support, right? And we're gonna basically base our trade off this if we start to see some type of chart patterns forming around this area where structure got broken at. So if we looking at our FIB, there's literally like 4 main levels that you will want to take trades at depending on the time frame that you on, right? When I'm on the higher time frame, the only levels I'm trying to take trades at is the 79, the 70, the 62, right? And it could be either in between the 62 and the 50. So anywhere like from the 50 to the 79 is like my area where I'm on a higher time frame. I'm cool with taking a trade based off that, right? If we start to go down to the 88, I'm gonna probably most likely close my trade out, because I feel like if it go to the 88, it's probably gonna break structure, right? So now let's go to the smaller time frame. We got our fib drawn on the higher time frame. We never gonna enter a trade just because it came back into the fib. We gotta make sure it line up on the smaller time frame. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down to the 5 minute. All right, let me do this. So we're gonna go down to the 5 minute. Now what do we get right here at the 5 minute, right? Depending on what day this was and how you like the trade, this could have been a move that you capitalized on based off price having this double top up here, right? So this is why I tell y'all, you gotta sometimes be able to understand where the market is going. What's the highest probability of this trade continuing to go down, right? Because on the smaller time frames, we ended up breaking structure to the downside. But let's just go to the 30 minute right quick. Hold on. We go to the 30 minute. As you can see, we right here at the fib, and we right here at this level of support now, right? What do we see up here? We see this double top, and we know that liquidity is right there. So this is, like I said, it comes down to understanding where you at in the market and understanding what the market makers want to do. 9 times out of 10, they would not have ran stops down here. If we look at this candle that we had took our trade based off, right, out of this range, let's look at this one engulfing candle right here. You see how it left this crazy wick right here? Price could have came and taken that out, but look at the likelihood of that, because if we look at it, you will see this double top is right here, and we got liquidity down here to the downside. Do it make sense for them to run stops down here, take out this liquidity, and leave this up here? The thing that they would do is run the stops to the upside and then run stops back, run the price back down. So you would have just had to figure out what type of way you would want to take an entry down here. You could have literally taken it off this engulfing candle right here on the 30 minute. You see how we got this engulfing candle right here? This could have been your entry point. Why? We had ended up breaking a little high right here. It wasn't nothing crazy, but structure had ended up getting broken right to the upside. I know if you go down to the 5 minute, you probably would have seen price try to do like some type of little pullback. Let's go down to the 15 and see. All right, y'all see how we had this little structure right here, right? And we had ended up breaking above it. You could have literally just took this trade right here, put your stop loss down here, and now you would have been able to take this trade going toward the upside to take out this liquidity. And then what you would have been doing is wanting to enter a sale to go back down and take out the liquidity that's in this wick right here. So this is why I'm telling y'all, I'm trying to teach y'all how to trade like the market makers, so that you can be able to take advantage of the market and not get fooled. It's real easy to get fooled trading. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all another example of a fib play on the smaller time frames and tell y'all how y'all could take advantage of it. So let's go to gold. We're gonna remove this indicator. Let's look at a day where price actually ended up giving us a fib play. So let's look right here. What had ended up happening? If we look at this low, this is the low that we're looking at, right? This is our high for the day so far. Price ended up pushing all the way down here. So we're gonna draw our fib down. And then what we're gonna do is see if we can get us an entry. So we looking at the fib. We had this break and retest, right? This is how you got to use this, because you want to make sure everything is lining up to where you getting multiple confirmations for the whole setup in general. You never want to just take a trade based off it coming down into the fib. It came down into the fib. Is that area a level of support or resistance? Is it some type of structure right there that got broken? Is it coming back for a break and retest? Did it give you an entry candle to go down, right? If we look at the market right here, you can see we had this low that got broken. Price came right back up into this area and did a break and retest, right? So now you got to be able to determine where you're going to get in at. Now, me personally, I ended up taking a trade right here after this candle closed just because it gave us some bearish rejection, right? So we knew that price didn't want to go no higher right here. So what I did was into a sell. I'm going to put my stop loss right here, right? We enter the trade, and basically all you want to do is just take profit at the most recent support that you got. So for me, I see that we have a price gap right here. All this stuff come into play, yo. Just make sure you're paying attention. We got this price gap right here. Where's the gap? For those who might not understand, this is the price gap. We had ended up breaking structure to the upside, leaving this gap right here, right inside of this candle. From this wick to this wick, this space was just basically empty. So we know that the market most likely will come back down and push into that, and then continue to the upside. So what you do is you could have took this trade off the fib and took profit inside the gap and then went long, right? And as you can see, that trade had ended up playing out and going crazy. So if we look at where we had took the trade at, right here to here was a 10 pip stop loss. Down into the gap, we ended up getting 41 pips. So this was a 1 to 4 risk to reward trade based off us taking advantage of the fib. Your fib don't have to be a long-term entry. If you scalping on the smaller time frames, you gotta be able to understand where to get out the market at. This is why I'm teaching y'all this market maker stuff, because this stuff real life gonna make you stand out from other traders as far as like your experience and your skill level, because you gonna know all of this stuff. Like the average person might come on the charts and look and see that price is coming down. They probably would have put their stop loss, they take profit down here. But me knowing how gaps work and knowing that the market was still in an uptrend in a sense, I know that, okay, I could take this sell, but I need to get out this sell as quick as I can. So we take this 1 to 4 trade and get out down here during the gap. And as you can see, once it pushed into the gap, it ended up pushing right back up. So now let's see if I can find one more example of a fib play for y'all right quick, just so y'all can see it one more time. All right, let's look at this trade right here, right? Like I said, these moves, you literally just taking advantage of price movement. So this is another example of one of them fib plays that I just told y'all about as far as the gap. So let's look at this trade right here. What do we got? We're gonna draw this trend line. Structure ended up getting broken right here, right? This was a low. I'm gonna consider this as a low. And I'm gonna also consider this as a low. This was the Asia low. All right, so we see that we got structure broken to the downside in this range right here. But what we want to do is also mark off this gap, because when price pushed down, it left the gap right here, right? From the wick of this candle to the wick of these candles right here, we left the price gap. So now I know that, okay, cool. If I'm taking a trade off a fib, I'm gonna know that as long as it line up with this gap, I can get into this trade and scalp it, right? So let's draw a fib out. We got the fib retracement. We're gonna pull it from right here all the way down to this low that it made that day. And look where it came into. Remember I told y'all our golden levels on the fib are gonna be the 62 level, the 70, and the 79. Once we start pushing up towards the 88, I'm getting a little bit nervous about the trade, right? Because I know that it shouldn't be going that high if it's going to continue to go in my direction. But sometimes it does go to the 88 fib level and then come back down. But you know, it just depends on the scenario. So let's look at the charts right quick. We got 3 confirmations. Structure got broken, right? We done took out 2 lows. We pushed below the Asia low, came back up for the retest. We had this price gap inside of this candle right here that ended up breaking structure, right? This engulfing candle. Price pushed back up into the fib, lining up right with our 62 and our 70. And we also filled this gap. You see how this candle right here filled the gap perfectly? I'm telling y'all, bro, this stuff is really what's going to make you stand out from other traders. So you could have took this trade right here, right? They even gave you an engulfing candle after that. But let's say you just took it right here off the rejection. We filled the gap. You want to just get in for a quick scalp, because when you taking trades off based off this, you basically just want to be in and out. So we're gonna put our stop loss right here. All right, let me see. We're gonna put our stop loss right here, and we're gonna change the color to red so y'all can notice where our stop is at. We're gonna change this one to green so y'all can know our entry was down here. We're gonna make it white. All right, so now we see what we got. We took the entry here. Let me see. We took the entry right here. Our stop loss would have been a 10 pip stop, right? You ain't tripping off 10 pips. Now we got to look at where we want to take profit at. Remember, if we look over towards this side, price had left a price gap right here, right? As you can see, we had a price gap when structure got broken toward the upside, trying to push back into this fib. So this could have been an area where you took profit at, but as you can see, price had ended up breaking down lower. So where would you should have actually took profit? You could take it at the next low. All we doing is taking profit at structure, right? If you would have took profit right here, let's just ignore this. We're gonna actually use both, just so I can tell you how much pips it was for both. So if you would have took the trade to here to fill this gap, this would have been a 22 pip trade. If you took it down here, it would have been a 40 pip trade. So as you can see, 1 to 4 on both of those trade setups that I showed y'all on the lower time frame. And then look, something else that you could do is I like to use the fib to scale in on entries. So let's say we got into that original trade, right? We already got into the trade here. Let me show y'all what y'all could then do. Construction ended up getting broken to the downside again. So now we can use our fib like this. All right, we're gonna remove this one. Now we can use our fib like this. Let's take off the gap box just because it's getting a little bit confusing. All right, we ended up taking our first trade here. Structure got broken to the downside. We pushed back up. The only time I use the 38 level on the fib is when I'm doing break and retest, right? If we look at the market, you can see structure got broken to the downside again. This was our low and we took it out, right? I'm gonna put it on the wick just because it's a little bit more accurate. We basically had broke structure right here. Broke structure to the downside. Price ended up pushing back up for a break and retest. It hit the 38 level on the fib. This is like my favorite area to catch like break and retest, because you can't really expect the market to keep on going back up to the 50 to 62 and the 70, right? So when I'm scaling in entries, I do use the 38.2. And I would have just added another entry here, put my stop loss for this entry up here where my first entry was at. And if this entry is already in profit, most of the time I'll just move my stop loss to break even. And I'll just basically be risking the amount for one trade on 2 trades, right? So you could have, say from this entry down here, this would have been another 30 pips for you. So you'd have had 2 trades running, and basically you would have got 30 pips on both. Well, 40 on one, 30 on the other. So this is how I use my fib in 2022. All right, so hopefully y'all enjoyed the video and it was helpful to y'all. If it was, make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also, I'm gonna let y'all know again, I just dropped my course. The course link is in the description. If you want signals only, the signals link is in the description as well. And if you got any questions, leave it down in the comment section below and I'll try to answer. So until next time, I'm gonna see y'all in my next video. Peace.